Good evening, everyone. Today is the 15th of July, and we're here to talk about goal setting. And a very important topic, in my humble opinion, is your ideal week. So when you think about what it is that you do all the time and where you go and the things that maybe you like to do and don't like to do, I want you to think about an ideal week. And this is an unusual concept, something that I have not presented on before. This is the first time I'm presenting on it. So for those of you who are here, welcome and thank you. We have, if you're joining us from Singapore or Malaysia or Vietnam or the United States or from other parts of the globe, I want to say welcome and thank you so much for being with us. So your ideal week is a concept that has been developed by many different authors. I'm actually reading a book by a gentleman named Michael Hyatt, and I've mentioned this to you here on this call before. He has a lot of interesting concepts, but one of them is the ideal week, and we're going to break it down for you, and we are going to talk to you about what it is and how it can work for you. So let's get started. Okay, so for those of you who don't know me, my name is Elena Jordan, and we've been doing this call for 6+ years every Monday, and it's a way for us to connect with each other, to ask questions, to learn more information, and to really get started on our journey in doTERRA. So I'm going to show you a couple of slides that maybe you've never seen before, and I think you'll be happy to talk about. So topic today is your ideal week. And you may be thinking to yourself, well, I don't know what my ideal week is all about, but I will suggest to you that it has something to do with routines and rituals, because the more we routinize what it is that we do, the more we set a schedule for ourselves, the more likely we are to have success. So I was always a person who got up in the morning and I take several oils. I've mentioned on this call that I always take frankincense and grapefruit, 2 drops each under my tongue every morning. And then I take my supplements, whatever I'm going to take for the day. And for me, that's usually my LLV or my daily nutrient pack, so my Microplex VMZ and my XC Omega. And then I may take a few other things depending on how I'm feeling or what I know my body needs as support. Maybe I've been overdoing it, staying up late, but maybe I haven't been. Maybe I've been getting a lot of rest and fresh fruits and vegetables. And so I can balance out what it is that I need based on my dietary needs. But the grapefruit and the frankincense and the 2 or 3 basic supplements are my go-tos. That's my ritual every single day. And I'm going to suggest to you that having a ritual can be a really good thing. Sometimes, especially many younger people, will resist the word ritual because it implies to them some sort of religious implication or obligation. But I'm here to suggest to you that rituals can really benefit us because we basically do the same things over and over again, and we developed good habits, especially things that are healthy for us. So I also mentioned to you that I've really recently started the habit of drinking almost a liter of water. Not quite, it's about 3/4 of a liter. First thing when I wake up with my supplements. I used to get up and drink about I don't know, maybe a 1/4 of a liter, maybe even less in the morning. Sometimes it was just a few sips to get my pills down my throat, and that's really not healthy for me. It's so much better if I get up and I drink a larger quantity of water. And yes, all my friends in Asia, I'm trying to drink my water at room temperature. It's killing me, but I'm doing it because I've gotten so much information about why room temperature water is important. During the day, I do mix it in with colder water because it is really hot here now, and sometimes it feels really refreshing. For those of you who follow Ayurvedic medicine, I'm one of these fiery people who kind of needs to cool down. And so throughout my life, I've sought out really cool things, but I know that it's not necessarily healthy for me. So my routine has changed, and that's a good thing. And I'm beginning to see changes in the way I sleep and my digestion, all different sorts of really wonderful changes. My hair and my skin look healthier. My nails are healthier. I've taken off a few pounds that I had put back on. I'm loving the changes that I'm seeing, and it's really not a lot of change. It just means that I'm setting up a routine for myself. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk to you about is that you have a choice in life. You can either live on purpose according to a plan that you've set, or you can live by accident, reacting to the demands of others. And the first approach is what we'll call proactive, and the second is reactive. And of course, it's a lot easier to accomplish what matters most when you're proactive and begin with the end in mind. So this is a book by Michael Hyatt and a gentleman named Daniel Harkey. What I've loved about this book is it talks about actually writing out a life plan. And I didn't read this book first. I read some of his other works first. I started with my Focus Planner, which I've talked to you a lot about. And what this did, though, was it codified some of the ideas. What's my goal? And we think about not just our goals for the quarter or goals for the year. I'm talking about life goals. And we have different accounts, if you will, in our life, whether they are our family or our friends, our health, maybe they're our spirituality, intellectual goals. What are the things that you personally want to achieve in your life, so that when you write your eulogy, and we all know that one day someone's going to write a eulogy for us, it says the things in it that you really wanted. And one of the exercises actually in this book, and it may sound a little bit morbid, is to write your own eulogy. Now, what's interesting is when I actually attended a private high school, and one of the exercises that we were encouraged to do was to write our own eulogy. And we actually wrote it as part of an admissions test, which sounds so crazy. And I guess the headmaster, the dean of admissions was so interested in what I had to say on that paper that I actually did get admission to this fairly prestigious and well-known private school. But the idea that we look ahead and we think of what it is we'd like to be remembered for is a universal idea. And I'm only codifying it for you in about 25 or 35 minutes. I want to make sure that if you haven't thought of this and you haven't thought of this idea, that you begin to think about it. Okay, so my ideal week. The first thing is you want to think about, this is really the dream. It's what I would live if I could control 100% of what happens. Now, it could be things that you only want to do in your free time. So, and I would suggest to you that maybe right now that's not realistic, because most of us are of working age. And I think if you're listening to this call, you're living and sharing and working with doTERRA and beginning to make contacts with people. You're not yet ready to be completely retired, that you're going to go fishing and play golf all day, or maybe do meditation from morning till night. You're an active participant in your life. You may have young children. You may have people that are depending on you. But either way, your life right now is an active work in progress. The grid that I'm going to show you is fairly simple, and each day has a theme. Now, if you remember, and this is a concept that I talked about a couple of weeks ago, maybe during the 1950s or so, 40s and 50s, when many women did not work outside of the home, they actually organized the work that they had to do in their home by day. So in my house, when I was growing up and my mother stayed home with me for 5 years, Monday was washing day, laundry day. All the laundry got done on Monday. On Tuesday was ironing day. Why? Of course, because everything that had been washed now had to be ironed. Wednesday perhaps was doing the grocery shopping. Thursday was meal prep, getting ready for the week and preparing different things that we would need and want to have in our house. And then Friday was, I don't even know what Friday was. Maybe Friday was cleaning the house. And so different days represented different activities. But it meant as a whole, after an entire week, everything got done, and then you would start the whole process all over again. So you're going to see for my ideal week, and for yours hopefully too, and I want you to take out your phones, take out your paper and pencil if you're writing this by hand, and begin to take some notes on this, because I think this can help you to organize yourself, to organize your team, and to organize your life. So not only is it a simple grid with each day as a theme, each day is segmented according to a specific focus area. So let me show you what it is in about a minute. So you're going to be, as I said, you're going to begin with the end in mind. So you're going to spend your time wisely because you don't get a refund. So spending your time on a weekly basis is similar to a financial budget, except here you're going to be spending time rather than your money. And you're going to spend your budget, right, your time on paper first. And the best budgets, whether they're financial budgets or their time budgets, are done on paper first. And then you can erase and reset until you have it right. Now, this is going to be a work in progress, right? You can live on purpose according to a plan or by accident reacting to the demands of others. So what you're going to see now, there we go. Okay, so this is an ideal week, and this is not my ideal week. This is actually Michael Hyatt's ideal week. Now, if you look along the top row, and I know this is a little bit fuzzy, I'm going to show you another one in a minute that's a little more clear. You can see that what he's done is he's categorized his days into backstage, front stage, and off stage. What does that mean? So I want you to think of a theater. And you know, if you have ever gone to a theater or you've gone to any sort of live performance, maybe a concert, you know that there are things that go on backstage, behind the curtain. These can be the lighting people, the sound technicians, the people that are in charge of the scenery or any types of props. These are the people that are working behind the stage, backstage, right, to get everything done and to make it all run smoothly. Then there's the front stage. That's where the actors are. They're the ones who are on stage. They're in front of the lights. They're performing. They're doing their job. So think of the theater. And then finally, they're off stage. Everybody's off stage. At the end of the night, when all the lights go off, that is where everybody goes. They go off stage. So in this particular grid, so those are the categories on the top. And along the left, you can see some categories. Starting at the top, it says self, then work, then rejuvenation. We cannot work constantly and do a good job, folks. We do need to take time off to sharpen our saw. If you work in concentrated blocks, what we call deep work, and that's a concept that was developed by a gentleman named Cal Newport, you're going to tend to do better. If you're trying to multitask, split yourself in two, work on your telephone, read a book, talk to me, do 100 different things, you're less likely to get really good work done. Last Saturday, I've told you many times that my son is an athlete. He's a lacrosse player, and my son and my husband were actually traveling in Rhode Island for a lacrosse tournament. And on Saturday morning, my mother decided to sleep in late, and I had no appointments that day. It was a beautiful day. I took out all of my books, my computer, my phone, and I began to really work. And I worked in 1 hour blocks. I didn't talk to anybody on the phone. I set a timer for an hour, and I was able to knock off so many things. Many of the things that we're working on were things that I'm preparing for you. Things like this presentation, ideas that are going to be presented in the future, follow-up things that I needed to do, but I made sure that I was only working in a quiet place and I wasn't working on the phone, on social media, or in another place answering messages, because all those things would interrupt me. I also tried not to even do those things on my breaks, because I've talked to you a little bit about brain residue and how important it is for us to really work in concentrated blocks. But let's go back to our picture here. When I look along the top row, you can see something called morning ritual. Morning ritual can be, as I explained to you before, it can include things like taking your vitamins, drinking water, exercising, perhaps prayer or meditation. Those are all your morning ritual. Now for this gentleman, and for this is Michael Hyatt, he's a gentleman, I would say he's about 65 or so, maybe he's in his 60s. He has 5 children, but they are all grown. So right now, the only people in his house are he and his wife. In the mornings, he has the luxury of doing a long morning ritual that include all these things. But if you're a mom at home with young children and you have to get them up and out the door for school, you may not have this luxury. You may get a half an hour. Now you can see for me, it looks almost like he has 2 or 3 hours on his work days, Monday through Fridays, of his morning ritual. He may be reading the Bible or another holy book. I don't know what exactly he does. He mentions it sometimes in some of his books, but that idea that a morning ritual can be as long or short as you need it to be. During his weekdays, and you can see this week starts on a Monday and runs Saturday and Sunday at the end, which is more typical of an Asian calendar. In the United States, our calendars are kind of fragmented. The first day of the week is often Sunday, and then Monday through Friday, and then Saturday at the end. To me, this is much more logical because our time off usually is Saturday and Sunday, and our working time is Monday through Friday. So this is, for me, a much more logical organization. Then what happens during the week? The first thing you see right under the morning ritual is a skinny bar that says workday startup ritual. What does that mean? It can mean anything. It can mean that you sit down at your desk and you set up some mats. Now in my office, what I do, my workday setup ritual is several of you know that I work on a large size glass desk. And so I'm always concerned about scratches and breakage and what are people going to do on my desk today and them slamming bottles down on the desk. So I set up some mats and a tray, and then I'll put out things like perhaps a carafe of coffee if my assistants are coming in with some napkins. I might definitely set up my computer. Those are all things that I need to do to get ready for my day. Then comes my actual day. Now on Mondays, in this particular instance, you can see he's got a lot of different activities jammed into the day. And if you look at the left, that's his work period. So he's got a lot of activities on the left. And then if you move to Tuesday through Friday, he's got what he's calling front stage activities. And when you move to my calendar, you're going to see my calendar in a minute, you're going to see more doTERRA type of activities. This is a general example. And then I'm actually going to share my calendar with you, my weekday. So the front stage activities could be anything from meeting with customers, setting up accounts, enrolling people, hosting a class. It could be speaking at an event. It could be running a class like this, a Zoom class. Those are all front stage activities. You are on and you need to do your work, right? Then you have your backstage activities. What could they be? It could be writing different things. It could be preparing packages. You've enrolled someone and now you want to prepare a package for that to send out to them. It could be answering emails. It could be monitoring your Facebook pages. Those are all backstage activities. And then he has on Friday something he calls visioneering, and I'm going to call it looking towards the future. What that is you're planning for yourself. What are you going to be doing in the week ahead? How many enrollments do you need? How many classes are you hosting? What are you doing in that next week? Because we have to do the activities, right? And then we need to prepare for the activities, and then we need to look ahead again. So it's a constant wheel that we're on, but what I'm encouraging you to do is to get organized. And then at the bottom, you can see on the left-hand side, going back in the rejuvenation column, he has everything from family dinner to free time to a date night. I know he's married, but he takes a night every week. For him, it's Thursday nights, and goes out with his wife. And then he has at the very bottom, you can see an evening ritual. So he's got a morning ritual, workday startup, workday shutdown, and then finally an evening ritual. Now, these may seem very regimented, my friends, but I'm going to show you my book now. Whoops. So first I have a lead up. So on my ideal week, I have daily themes, and the daily themes are going to be listed on the very top row. So I don't use as much the backstage, on stage, off stage, but I do to a certain extent. Monday, I use more like the 50s housewife. Okay, so Monday is devoted to the team, one-on-one meetings, and a staff meeting at lunch. So what does that mean? Either my assistants or someone who's working for me or someone who's come to do some additional work. Those are the things that I do on Monday. Many of you know I do mentoring calls on Monday, and I do them in quick succession. So I'm kind of get off this call and I'm boom, 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 and I'm doing all the meetings for Monday. Tuesday and Wednesday are devoted to travel and extended meetings. So if I have to go drive a long distance or meet with someone, I may be driving into the city that day. And I do a monthly business review, either with some of my key leaders. Either I'll do that on the phone, I might do it in person, but longer meetings are usually on Tuesday and Wednesday. Thursday is what I call an ad hoc day. I do sort of a mixed group of things. This is where I try to push external requests for meetings. So if I have a meeting that's kind of outside of the team and I'm not sure where it's going to fall, I try to push it into Thursdays. Here's the interesting thing about Thursday mornings, which you're going to see when you see my calendar in a minute. On Thursday mornings, I actually try to do meal prep, because I find that if I do meal prep on Thursday morning, my weekend runs much smoother. I used to take that out of my schedule, or I would do it whenever I felt like it, but then the weekend was a mess. And then all weekend long, my family would be saying, when are we going to eat? What do we have? What's in the refrigerator? There's nothing here. You didn't go shopping. So Thursday is that day for me to get my family prepared for the weekend. Friday is spent on planning and long-term thinking. Very often, Julia's in the office on Friday, or Sophia, her sister, or both. And we're working on things like our Instagram posts, our Facebook page. That's type of long-term planning, and that goes on Fridays. Saturday is for personal chores and activities, usually, unless, like, for example, this week, I know somebody already invited me for a business lunch. So I'll be doing that on Saturday, but for the most part, it's a time for me to kind of run around. Or last Saturday, as I said, to actually do quiet, intense work. And then Sunday for me is for church, rest, and planning for the coming week. So now here's my calendar. Yes, this is my actual calendar, folks. So you can see it all up front. So as you can see, mine is more mixed up. On the left-hand side, I have the same categories that he has: rejuvenation, work, and self, because self-leadership precedes team leadership. I actually wrote that in for myself because I know that if I don't lead myself, I'm not going to be a very good leader for this team. And that's my goal, to help you all to be great leaders for your team. I put some notes on the top, as you can see right under the little green. It says backstage, front stage, and off stage. Prepping, backstage is prepping for the stage. Front stage is where I get paid. So if I do that activity, I usually get paid for it. So that means either I'm doing a speaking engagement where I'm going to receive some sort of an honorarium, or perhaps I'm enrolling someone and hosting a class where people are actually going to enroll. Those are my money-making activities, right? And then finally, off stage, I have meetings to do, usually meetings to do with work or other meetings. Now, you can see that and you can see the gray bar along the top. It says people, preparation, presentation, and that's 2 days, Wednesday and Thursday, planning, and then Saturday and Sunday are off stage. Now, in the mornings, as you can see, one of my morning rituals is I'm a Catholic, and I try to go to Mass actually almost every day. If I don't go to Mass, which is fairly unusual, I would try to actually sit and read the readings for the day. For me, that's an important part of my morning ritual. In my morning ritual, and my masses on weekdays are short, so I go to a really short mass. It's usually about half an hour, 45 minutes at the most. And then my morning ritual will include things, as I said before, like my vitamins, perhaps exercise, although I don't usually exercise in the morning now because my husband's changed his schedule, but other sorts of morning rituals, drinking my water. Those would be things that I would do in the morning, maybe taking a shower, of course, bathing. And then my workday startup ritual, again, a little skinny bar. Then on the left-hand side, you see Monday, what does it say there? Singapore Zoom, that's all you folks, right? And then mentoring calls, you can see that goes on almost all day long. Lunch, I take a break for lunch. Sometimes I eat a quick lunch by myself, or I meet a friend or a colleague or someone else for a lunch. I try to take a lunch break every day. It can sometimes be a short lunch, but sometimes it's longer. And then you can see Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday have those big blocks that say front stage activities. On Thursday morning, you see it's cooking with Maria. Maria is my housekeeper of many years. And so we plan those morning things. But what does that mean? That means at one point, I have to have the ingredients to be able to cook the dinner. And I'll usually do that in the evening or on another day, or maybe even I'll run out that morning if I have to, if I've really gotten so behind during the week. Thursday is meeting with team or clients, and then Friday, I use the word visioneering again because I like that word, and planning for next week. Saturday, it says free time, but that's always That's actually, that should say haha underneath, free time haha, because usually free time includes bringing my son to a game or a tournament or doing something for my mother. It means running around. It doesn't mean actual free that I'm sitting and doing nothing. You can see also on Saturday and Sunday, I often get up early. I'm the first one up in my house. It's usually I'm up first and then my son. And I like to read first thing in the morning. So for me, I get up on Saturdays and Sunday mornings, and I can get in 45 minutes or an hour of reading, sometimes more if I'm up a little bit earlier. And then Sunday is lunch with my family, again, mass, usually a longer mass on Sunday, and then weekly planning, family dinner, and more free time. So I'm trying to, as you can see, and if you look on Monday, all the way at the bottom on the left, you can see the goal setting Zoom. You can see the goal setting Zoom there. And that's the Zoom that I'm doing just for the 12 weeks of the summer. Now this ideal week it's two things. It is a work in progress, and it also only for this quarter. So when I start the next season of our year and it gets busier, or I have more obligations because of holidays, because in the last quarter of the year we have Thanksgiving and we have Christmas. There's a lot of things going on, and we have a convention. You want to make sure that your calendar reflects what it is that you're going to have going on. I may take a whole block here and call it convention prep. I don't know, or convention meetings after, post-convention tour. I'm not sure. I may run my own post-convention tour, but just so you can clearly understand, this is what's going on, and this is what my ideal week looks like. So my focused areas, just to go over again, are listed in the leftmost column. Early morning hours devoted to myself, reading, praying, and working out, taking my supplements. Middle of the day is devoted to work. I try to arrive at the office by 8:30 and leave promptly at 6 p.m. It's amazing what you can get done in the time allotted when you create hard boundaries around your work. Otherwise, Parkinson's law becomes operative. Work expands to the time allotted for it. And I know some of you are get up later and work till later in the evening, and that's absolutely fine. You should do whatever you need to do, but I'm going to suggest to you that the majority of your work be done during work hours, just because you're going to be able to interact with other people. So for you, your shutdown ritual at the end of the day may be longer than my morning ritual, just because I tend to be a morning person. But if you're gradually shifting yourself from a night person to an evening person, from an evening person to a morning person, it may take a little bit of time and a little bit of adjustment. The end of the day is reserved for my family and reading. I currently have my 17-year-old son, my 89-year-old mother at home, in addition to my husband and me, and we eat dinner together almost every night, taking time to connect and catch up. I'll sometimes watch a quick movie or a documentary or something else. I don't watch the news at the end of the day. I'm not a news watcher. And then I enjoy reading for the last 60 minutes of the day. That's the way my day goes. Activities that contribute to my goals and priorities are done during my peak working hours. And of course, you know what your peak working hours are. You want to batch your activities for maximum efficiency, effectiveness, and focus. And then 3 types of activities, you're basically qualifying them: self, work, and rejuvenation. And all of them are important. And I want to suggest to you that self-leadership precedes team leadership. I said that before. I wrote it on my ideal week, and I'd like you to really try to let that think in. I'm only going to be as good as I am. I know that sounds crazy, but the better that I get, the better I'm going to be for all of you. And the same thing is true for you and for your teams. And I want to be able to set an example for each one of you, so that when you think back, okay, is anybody else doing this, or how hard? I can't do it. I want you to think back to today and think to yourself, you know what? I know Elaine is doing it. I know Michael Hyatt is doing it, and I can do it too. So right now, I have the luxury of spending almost an hour on self-activities every morning, including mass and so on, the things that I explained. But back when my kids were little, I was lucky to get in those 30 minutes, as I said before. Depending on your stage of life, you may be able to dedicate more time or less time. The amount of time is less important than being intentional with the time. Okay, so beginning and end your day with a ritual. So I begin, as I said, with a workday startup ritual, and I end with a shutdown ritual, and evenings devoted to rejuvenation and rest. And as I said before, I recommend that you might map out your week. I've been talking, I guess, a lot about these notes. I don't know if I necessarily have to read them. And once you've created your ideal week, it's a basic template. I have to say, when I first sat down to do it, I thought to myself, oh my gosh, this is so hard. I really don't understand what I'm doing here. But I just allotted a certain amount of time for myself and drew it out I use erasable pens, but I suggest you use either erasable pen or a pencil because you're going to be shifting those blocks until you get it right. I also showed this to my assistant and my family, so they're all working with the same set of expectations and they can help me stick with it. And you may find that everything can't get onto the template, but having this template is going to help you to do better than if you didn't have it. Okay, last but not least, this is a work in progress. So be easy on yourself. Don't expect perfection. Every quarter is an opportunity for you to evaluate what's working, what's not, and adjust as appropriate. And I'm going to help you as we go along, specifically for the next 6 weeks, to connect more to your goals. And this document is going to help you connect more to your goals. So the time is just not flying away and you're not getting things done. And last but not least, this is going to help you to grow, because I know there are people on this team that are in this call that are super organized, are looking at this document and are saying, I'm on it. I'm going to get on it right now. I love this. And other people that are saying, oh my goodness, I'm not sure I can do this. So for those of you who are thinking, oh my goodness, I'm not sure I can do this, I'm going to suggest to you that you start small. And maybe it's as small as looking at a calendar similar to the one I showed and thinking to yourself, okay, what does my week look like now? And in your mind, just kind of make a few drawings, maybe a few scribbles, and kind of plan it out. Maybe sitting down intensely is not the right strategy for you. But if you are on that road and you do want to set goals and you are a person who really is thinking, this is my year, I am really looking forward, I'm going to challenge you to sit down and plan your ideal week. Now, what would you use for your ideal week? Of course, your lifelong vitality pack. I know this photograph is terrible, folks. I'm not sure why it came out so fuzzy, but I know all of you know about Alpha CRS, XE Omega, and Microplex VMZ. Microplex MV, this is actually the wrong slide, but exclusive, naturally balanced vitamins, minerals, polyphenols. It's a whole food blend, has a tummy tamer. I know you know all this stuff, but it really is your way to have an ideal week. The other thing you want to try is your XE Omega with your carotenoids, vitamins A, D, and E, and the marine blend that's so easy to digest. If you are a vegan, you know that there's a VE Omega, and you should be taking that. And finally, again, a fuzzy photo, sorry about this, your Alpha CRS or your cellular vitality complex, combining levels of botanical extracts and so on, really good to support your cells and to keep you feeling and working at your optimal levels. Now, I'm going to have you again write a smarter goal. If you haven't done it and they've been coming in dribs and drabs, folks, but I mean it. This means you DM me your goals. Send it to me as an email. Send it to me as a direct message. Send it to me through Facebook or WhatsApp, whatever you want to do. Go to Elena Jordan on Instagram or Facebook. You can follow me there. You can follow these pages that we have. Post a comment about what you learned today, and please tag 2 friends. We really want to make sure that these pages are getting bigger and more exciting and more vibrant, and that we're attracting the people that we want to attract that need to get this information. Doesn't mean it has to be someone who's already purchased oils from you. It could be someone who perhaps has not, but you can point them in the direction of this information. Okay, so primary benefits of our lifelong vitality, I'm going to keep going. Wellness, antioxidant and DNA protection, bone, immune, stress, cardiovascular health, hair, skin, and nails, eye, brain, and nervous system, liver, lungs, gentle on the stomach, really good for us. And now we have our lifelong vitality daily packs. Now, all my friends in Asia, I don't think you have this yet. This is a US product, and this is going to be the prize for today. I'm going to be giving away 2 lifelong vitality daily packs. 2 full boxes are going to be given away today. And as I said to you in our previous, is everybody going wow? I hope you're all going wow. I see the chat starting. Woohoo! So these are not in Asia yet, and so I have to mail them over, but they're going to go out. So if you win today, you may not get it until the beginning of next week, so please just be patient. But yes, I'm going to be giving out 2 full lifelong vitality packs, but in the daily packs, which is really kind of fun. I want you to have a wonderful week. This is my goal for you. And so this is kind of as we're adjusting this call and we're making it our luxury call, I think the prizes are going to be really amazing, and I think you're going to be really happy with that. Okay, so, whoops. Don't forget your Wellness Box program. You know, if you go to elenayourdan.com and you scroll down further on the page, you'll find your July Wellness Box. This is a way for you to begin to talk to people if they don't want a kit and they're not sure how to get started, or they're not sure what to order on their LRP. This is an easy way for you to get them started. You can tell them this is the bug box, and each month we're changing up those boxes, but of course, you can take a picture of it, you can save it for yourself. The other great thing is they're calculated to be at least 150 PB. Okay, remember everyone, you are amazing, and I'm so happy that you're here. I thought today's call was kind of cool. We only really talked about one set of products, but I know you all know about LLV, but now you're actually going to have the opportunity to see the individual packs. And thank you for being here, everyone. Have a wonderful week. Okay, let's pick those prizes. What do you think? Is that a good prize? You like it? I'm so excited. Okay, let's see what's going on in the chat. Okay, I'm glad people like the planning. That's another thing I want to hear. What are you thinking? Everybody like the planning? You're going to try to do it? Okay. Yes. Okay. All right. So how about this? If you write up in an ideal week and you send it to me, I will have an additional prize for you. Is that a deal? But you have to send it to me. You can't just write it up. You have to write it up and send it to me. So if you write it up this week, I'll give you 1 week. If you write it up and send it to me, I'll have an extra prize for you, and I'll send those prizes in the box when I send everything to Singapore this week. That's my goal. Okay. So hold on a second. Let me pick the winners. I have no pencil and pen today. I'm sorry. I'm like all dressed and ready to go, but I have no pencil and pen. So for those of you who know the United States, I'm driving to Delaware today with my son for another tournament, and I'm going to be gone until Thursday, but I'll be gone on the calls tonight, so you'll hear me on the calls. I'll be doing more or less the same thing, but in a slightly condensed version. Okay, here we go. Our winners are, whoops. Great, great. Good. Oh my gosh, you guys are awesome. You're just awesome, I swear. I shouldn't swear, but it's the truth. And our 2 winners are okay. Our 2 winners are Maureen Lang and Suan B. Tan. 2 winners are Maureen Lang and Suan B. Tan. Congratulations. Have a wonderful week, and I'll see you back here on Monday. And if you send me your ideal weeks, even take a snapshot of it. I'd love to see it. And we'll see you here. Thank you so much. They'll have an extra prize. Okay, bye-bye now. Have a great week.